It's been about 3.5 years since I pulled this Jeep out of the woods and started rebuilding it. There wasn't a whole lot left of it, but I wanted to keep that sort of New England farm woods Jeep aesthetic. I set a goal for myself when I started this project that in 4 years I wanted to be able to drive this thing back to where it was sitting in the woods. So I've still got a bunch of work to do, and I want to blow this whole thing apart and tidy up some things. But before I do that, there's a few things I need to take care of. I've got this to the point where I can drive it around my own woods, and that's made it pretty obvious that I want to put some protection on here, do some rock sliders. There are a couple of ways that people will do these. One is to mount something directly to the body. Makes it a little tougher, but it's still going to put the force into the body. I'd prefer to do ones that mount to the frame. I've got some 1.5" square tube. It's 1/8 inch wall. Conventional wisdom says this is probably too light, but it's sort of an experiment to see just how light I can go. The thing about these old Jeeps is the reason they work well off-road is because they're small and agile and light. So I don't want to fall into the cycle of making something that's heavy and beefy that means that I have to make other things heavy and beefy and just keep adding weight that way. So I'm going to see how light I can make these and see if they work, and if not, I'll rebuild them. I want to go in about 2 inches. Now I just got to do the same thing over again 3 more times. My old power hacksaw never does a spectacular job cutting things squarely, so for the outrigger pieces I'm squaring up one end on the mill, and then using an end stop when I flip it around to do the other end, so all 6 of these are going to come out to be the same length with nice square ends. So now I've got 2 of these and 6 of these. The first piece I can weld in place on the bench, but since I'm trying to use existing holes in the frame, I need the mounting plates to space out the rest of them. The driver's side gets the same treatment as the passenger side, just in reverse. So I don't have these totally bolted in yet. There's a couple holes that I need to open up. But since I've got high voltage cables and brake lines and things like that behind there, I'm going to wait until the body's off to drill those out. But I'm thinking these things look just about right for what I want to do with this Jeep. Just give a little bit of protection without kind of looking over the top. So I think those look pretty good, so I'm going to move on to something that doesn't look right. This is the throttle pedal that I've been using in the Jeep. I think it's from a Chevy Camaro. Like the original Jeep throttle, it mounted on the floor, pivoted from the bottom by your heel. But this one just doesn't quite sit at the right angle in the Jeep. So naturally, I took the whole thing apart. All of the electronics are in this side, but I also need the little wheel here that it reads off of, and the spring and some mechanisms. So I got a reproduction of the original style. So all I have to do is make something that looks like this, that'll mount under the floor, and made up with this. Of course, that's easier said than done, but I think it's interesting to look at this to sort of talk through my design process. This is the first one, and that was just to get the basic shape of it right. It was close other than there. Next one's a little more detailed. Add in this part, tweak the shape a little bit. That one's pretty close. And then just kind of iterate on that, keep adding features and more features. These two are pretty close to the same, but just a little tweaked, until you get to something that you think might work. I don't have it set up to snap together yet. So now what I can do is mount this under the floor, put a hole for that, have this above the floor. The problem is at the end here you should have about 2 inches of travel, give or take, and this only has about 1 inch. So I need to... Looks like there's a spot weld on here too, so we'll go ahead and get that drilled out. It's not there yet. This was one of those things that took a lot of fiddling to find a good setup to weld it, and then also took a couple tries to get it welded in the right spot. Got my final version of this printed up in ASA carbon fiber. Got some inserts melted in. Everything clipped together and it's nice and solid. And since this little piece needs to come up through the floor, I printed out a little template to mark out a hole for it. Well, I'd certainly say that looks better. Feels a lot better too, so it still needs a little boot on there, but I'm going to put a check mark next to that one. It's probably about time I give these fenders some love too. I've kind of been tapping on these a little bit here and there as I've gone along. And there's a little tear here, probably from an impact at the front, makes that bulge out. I'm going to try to do a little bit more massage work here and get that welded up. Well, that immediately blew a giant hole in it, didn't it? Let's see if I can do any better doing the same repair on the driver's side. Might as well pull this fender off and jump into the big problem area. We've got this area here where there's a whole bunch of different pieces of metal coming together and it just traps moisture and rots out. So I guess I just start dissecting it and see how deep this rabbit hole goes. I gotta make one of these for the passenger side and one for the driver's side. And I've got to make two panels that go under them that are more or less the same shape. So it made sense for me to take the time to cut this all out in one piece so I can make a pattern off it. And I'm doing this on graph paper so I can just feed it into the computer and then cut them out on the plasma cutter. Give me a nice clean edge along here too. It'd be better if I wasn't doing this on the welding table where there are holes. And I can even pop these holes in it. The outer piece transitions from a hard corner to a gentle curve, so I set the clamp bar on the mag brake at an angle. It worked out okay. Passenger side's mostly there. It still needs a brace here and some more welding down there. But I figured I'd compare to the driver's side before I did this one. You can see I got rid of this pinch weld. It's just one less spot for rust to start forming now. The other thing I did was size the inner patch to be about a 1/4 inch offset from the outer one. That way that weld seam's not visible at all. And I'll go back and carefully fill in with some seam sealer along here. I did that on these seams on the back. I think it looks pretty good, and it's going to keep any water from getting in there in the future and rusting it out again. The driver's side is pretty much the same, but I don't need to be nearly as careful cutting it out since I've already patterned the piece. On the passenger side, the flange where the inner fender joins on was almost gone, but barely salvageable. On this side, it's not salvageable. I started out with just a straight angled piece, but there's a little bit of a curve in the top. So I used the jaw stretcher to put a little bit of curve in it. Just kept checking it until I got it about right. While I was working on this, I was kind of imagining someone seeing this video as part of their binge watch of the entire Jeep build playlist. They get to see my skill progression in a very condensed version. When I started on this project, I'd never done any sheet metal work or any kind of TIG welding, and while I'm still not great at it, I at least think I'm mostly competent now. I get a lot of comments from people who say they wish they had my skills, but I guess the moral of the story is if you want the skills, just go for it, and you can learn as you go. Have you ever noticed in these videos you eventually hit a part where the creator just says, I did the rest of this off camera because it's really just more of the same? Well, that's this part of the video. Because I did the rest of it off camera because it really is just more of the same. Especially because I had to also patch here, and here, and there, also there. That one came out really well. Weld up some holes here, and also here, there, here, and that one. So, I've moved on to paint and seam sealer and probably do some Bondo, but I've done that all in another video, and I'll leave a link here and say thanks. I went ahead and painted it. Could probably use a little bit more work with the scuff pad to kind of blend into the hood, but it looks pretty good overall. The big advantage of going for that crusty New England farm Jeep aesthetic is no matter what I do, it kind of makes sense. This repair came out pretty well, so can't even really tell I did much, so that makes sense. But the spots where there's some visible welds and patches, it also makes sense because it's an old Jeep that's been beaten on and patched up. It's also kind of surprising to me how much stronger it feels. I didn't really think that the parts that were rusted out were all that structural, but it feels way better. Pretty happy with how that came out. She's looking pretty good and getting closer, but next thing to do on this is going to be to tear the whole thing apart, so I'm going to go ahead and say thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel through Patreon, YouTube memberships, or by buying one of my Professional Project Collector Association t-shirts from JeremyMakesThings.net.